Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. And well, I hope you all are enjoying the Olympics as well as the cricket for cricket lovers out there. I know RCBian Chelsea Fan TV has not covered cricket in the recent week, but we are back with Chelsea. Yes, it is a week of preseason, another week of preseason because we did cover 1 week of preseason, I think, last week. And yes, there are a lot of transfer updates that are yet to be discussed. So here I am again discussing that, and I'm sure you guys must have noticed this yellow kit. That is because Chelsea has just launched the away yellow kit, the new one. Yes, so I thought why not relive some nostalgia, right? Any guesses which kit this is? I think this was one of the kits, one of the years where Chelsea was actually successful. So I don't know, guys, in the comments in the chat, I see a few of them live. So maybe you can guess. That'll be great. Let's see who can guess that. But yes, while we begin, this has been a week of a lot of transfer speculation as well as preseason, and I'm happy to be back because we have won our preseason game, and I got to discuss that with you, right? So before we actually go ahead, I would request you all to please smash that like button as well as subscribe if you haven't, as well as press the notification icon because you'll get a reminder the next time I'm live. And this is the first time that I'm live alone. Yes, I plan to have guests maybe in the in the coming minutes. I don't know, depending upon how much time I take or how you guys like the stream. But do comment in the chat if you're liking it or not, and then we can continue or not. Based on that, as well as have you guys live discussing with me, right? So if you are ready for that, feel free to come on as well. But that reminds me, I actually did a new series. Yes, I'm sure some of you must have looked at the Who Am I in 5 series. It was a little bit long from feedback that I received, but I've got a lot of positive feedback as well. I know this is not a very, as in a format that's very used to, but definitely I plan to tweak it a little bit and come back as we are arranging for more guests. And surely, I'm sure, some of you must have tried those questions that I have been giving in that particular episode. So if you are ready for it, DM me. My socials are below in the description, and we can definitely connect and have you on the next episode, right? But while we are discussing that, I believe we should jump on the topic for what we are here today, and I will quickly jump on to the first topic. Okay, so we have to start with the preseason game because it's been a while since we have won. Like you saw in that video, yes, the last win was that I saw live, of course, was the Champions League huge triumph that we got. So this time definitely gave me goosebumps. I don't know about you, and I am always excited to talk about preseason because there's a lot to talk about, and of course the transfer speculation, right? And of course with Bournemouth, winning against Bournemouth was something very cool for me after a long time. The Barcelona for Chelsea that they've always been. So yes, so let's start with the strategy as I just showed you. But before that, I would just like to say a quick hi to DJ Sav. Hi DJ Sav, all good? How about you? Thanks for joining in. And I think Abhishek has also joined. Thank you as well. And of course, Tommy, the CFC fan, big up to you as well, brother. And yes, so let's jump into basically what the strategy was. But before I continue, I would also like you to stay till the end, because yes, I am covering a lot of transfer speculation and news, the latest ones at that, towards the end of the stream, right? So just hold on. But definitely we have to speak about preseason first, right? So I'll just try to share my screen. Just give me a second. Okay. Yes, I think you guys are able to see, right? So this was a starting formation, as you can see. Well, it was only Tuchel who can play Lewis Baker at center back, and that was very surprising for me. But you know what? He did well. I think most of you all who saw the match live, definitely agree with that. Do comment in the chat if you don't. He's definitely not a center back, as per his trade, but I believe he did well. And same with Malang Sarr and Dujon Sterling, I would say. And it was very interesting for me to see Callum Hudson-Odoi back at right wing back, somewhere where I believe that he should probably, give himself more time. And you never know, he can become the best right wing back, attacking one at that in the world, right? And that's his potential for me. And of course, drink water. Yes, Didi, not Didier Drogba, Danny Drinkwater, who started in midfield along with Conor Gallagher, the prodigy. So it was an interesting formation. At first, I was surprised, not to see, basically some of the first teamers, but I can understand that they were in the Euros. So that's fair enough, right? But how did the game start? Well, we dominated as expected, but the chances that were created were missed again, as the recent games have been like in the past. So I think nothing new there, but definitely I was hoping that we would try something extraordinary. But yes, not so different. But Alonso was captaining the side and back at left wing back, so that was good to see as well. Tammy Abraham missed a couple of good chances, in my opinion, and that's something that probably something that we should be working on. Hopefully, in the next preseason game, we'll be working on together, and who knows. But yeah, the halftime score was 0-0, and I was expecting a lot of changes. And then there was a change in strategy. It's a preseason game after all. So the second half, started with I think 7 changes, and I believe Tuchel made most of the changes apart from Tammy Abraham being there, Conor Gallagher being there, and I think the wing backs were there as well. So let me try and share my screen again, and this time I'll share the second half. Yeah. So the changes that were made, the surprising element for me was certainly Armando Broja playing the second half along with Tammy Abraham. So that means a 3-5-2. Well, it does say one thing, that Thomas Tuchel will probably continue to play three at the back, which is something which won us the Champions League. So, why not continue the same? But yes, it's interesting to see the 3-5-2 formation, especially with Loftus-Cheek, starting that second half. It did tell me again that Loftus-Cheek did not start the first half, so I don't know if he really fits in the 3-4-2-1 formation. But well, Barkley and himself, started in the second half, so good enough there as well. So that's something that we had to capitalize on, because we were basically playing Bournemouth, and we had to basically get Loftus-Cheek more on the ball, in my view, and Broja with his runs, and Abraham with his finishing, hopefully in the second half. But it was not to be. It was Bournemouth, as you know, some of you, that they scored with Marcondes, I think, scoring, and that was almost against the run of play for me. But it was Mendy's error, I believe, in the 65th minute. Not great distribution there, although he didn't make a great save before that. But still, like, I would say that Mendy was not really ready per se, and that led to a goal. But nevertheless, it was still, I think, half an hour into the game. And as we continue, I see a quick comment here from Tommy. I hope we get Dusan Vlahovic here. I know, Tommy, the CFC fan, you are a great fan of Dusan Vlahovic, and I am as well. But let's see, we will definitely speculate about transfers. Just wait for the second part of the show, and you will hear everything. And I have some insider news probably, right? You never know. So yes, that was where we were back into the, the preseason game with half an hour to go. So that's when I believe we made 3 more changes. The wing backs were taken off, and let me share the changes that were made for us to basically try and get that goal. So here I go again with the final 11 that were playing in the game. It was interesting to see two young forwards out there, Broja and Agbo, with Baba Rahman. Yes, and you know what? Baba Rahman actually recouped us all that money that we invested years ago. We actually signed him for his crossing ability, and he got that cross. I think in the 69th minute, around that, when he crossed to Broja, and Broja basically got it in, and it was a great cross. So I don't know. What about you guys in the comment? Do you think Baba Rahman? I know it's just a one-off game, but can he be a backup left wing back? He was injured after all the last few years, so who knows if he gets that touch, and his crossing ability is something that we can make use of. Anyway, we have Emerson as well as I believe uh, Alonso already linked. There have been links to Inter Milan and Napoli. The bids are not too great as per reports, but hoping that we get great bids, I believe we should, give them a send off, and maybe Thomas Tuchel gave a send off to Alonso by, giving the captain's armband. I don't know. It's for you guys to comment, and well, I don't mind anyone to be honest, but yes, Zappacosta, I call him basically the poor man's Cafu is back. I know that was just a taunt at him, but nevertheless, he's not too bad in my opinion as a right wing backup option. So yeah, that is what we were dealing with, and that gave us a second goal with Barkley, who was basically taking set pieces, getting that pinpoint corner on Agbo's head, and he headed it in, and it was 2-1, and we finally won it 2-1. Great to actually see goals coming off two youngsters, but even great was Broja getting, I think, the third goal in preseason, and he's already got an assist as well. So, kudos to Broja, and definitely I see a future. I don't know about you guys. Having said that, I think it's time to basically dwell upon two more important topics. So let's move on to two more important topics as far as this game was concerned, right? Well, like you saw that, these are just opinions and definitely a reaction. I know I probably should have come live yesterday, but I wasn't able to. But here I am, discussing that, and feel free to discuss what your opinions was about that game. We don't want to judge too early, but before I continue, please smash that like button, because the more likes we have, the algorithm will make our video to basically go ahead in order, and maybe they come live, and I would want to discuss transfers with a lot of people, because that's where I really want our fan base to get involved in before we actually get over the line, right? So, just a click, guys. Let's do that. And coming back to the topic about the preseason game against Bournemouth, well, the star of the match. Do comment. What do you all think? And I know I might be controversial here. I definitely see a couple of guys in the chat joining in. Let me just highlight this. Amaya, bro, what do you think? Who was man of the match from Chelsea's perspective? And as we tell that, Chelsea perspective is also in the chat. Hello, brother. And for me, the controversial element, yes, I'm going to say it, Danny Drinkwater. Yes, he was among the stars of the match. And trust me, I love all the youngsters. I do not like Danny Drinkwater one bit. But just like Jorginho has changed my opinion over 6 months, you never know. Funnier things have happened in football. It is just one game. I'm not going to say that we are going to keep Danny Drinkwater. The plus point for me is that Danny Drinkwater performed. That makes him basically an asset for Chelsea Football Club, and we need to sell a lot of players. I'm hoping that you guys saw the last solo video that I did. I discussed a lot of tactics and basically what players we have on the table. We need to get rid of a lot of deadwood. Danny Drinkwater is amongst them. The crosses that he had, in fact, the long diagonal passes that he had, I think, to Hudson-Odoi a couple of times, was almost world-class. Again, against Bournemouth, but doing so in front of the crowd that were returning, I do recall that we have not been playing in front of the crowd for a long time. So definitely for me, Danny Drinkwater was deserving a shout-out. And yes, just 45 minutes, but in those 45 minutes, he was better than the other midfielders. So I have to be fair there. But yes, like Abhishek in the chat is also saying, definitely Broja was the man of the match. Yeah, as much as Danny Drinkwater was great, Armando Broja for me, I agree totally. Abhi, totally I agree with you because yes, there has been a lot of talk regarding Armando Broja possibly being our backup striker, the role that Tammy Abraham played last season or was supposed to play, but I was not convinced. Like, because I not seen him in flesh basically performing for 90 minutes. I know he performed for just for 45 minutes against Bournemouth in a preseason friendly, but that was enough to tell me that he has the minerals in him. Yes, he has the minerals in him because Armando Broja was great in his hold-up play, something that we missed with Tammy Abraham and at times I have to say even Giroud last season. They were fantastic, but in terms of hold-up play alone, Broja was something else. Haaland, not yet, but yes, definitely Broja has a promising future, and the goals that he's getting as well, tells me that he has it in him in terms of the zeal, which, in my opinion, Tammy Abraham, again controversially, lacked a bit in this game again. So I don't know. Comment, guys. What do you all think? Apart from these two, of course, the other standouts that deserve a shout out for me, one was definitely Agbo that I mentioned. Yes, Agbo scored a goal, and he has been linked, I believe, with one of the championship clubs to go. But that will be great. But I would rather have him see in the Premier League because for me, he has the strength. So he showed a lot of strength against experienced Bournemouth players as well. So he's one for me. The other person who also showed a lot of strength and surprised me pleasantly was our left centre back in the first half, that is Malang Sarr. Yes, Malang Sarr could be kept. He is a left-footed centre back, so that's something that we lacked. With Zouma not being able to play that much in that position last season, so who knows, right? So these are a couple of shout-outs, and I see from Abhi that Ziyech also played well. Yes, I agree, Ziyech played well, but again, the assist that he deserves, the finishing is not there for a forward, so that's where we lack the stats for Ziyech in terms of the assists. And yes, I think Chelsea perspective says Danny Drinkwater played well, but he doesn't deserve man of the match. Yes, so he's my second choice. My first choice is definitely Broja. Armando Broja deserves the man of the match for me. And yes, but yes, there are other people who underwhelmed. I would not say we should judge too soon and send them on loan or look for a loan option. But again, controversially, I have to say that Ruben Loftus-Cheek, especially in the first half of the second half, did not convince me. For me, it's just the confidence, the zeal, the runs that he makes, that's missing. He doesn't have that in him. It'll take time, I know. And in Fulham, he did not play the right position. But these 45 minutes, are all that he's going to get in this preseason. So he has to prove it. Just like last season in the Brighton game, he is not showing from minute one. But I have to say, in the second half of the second half, he performed well. When he was played in the number six position, something that I did not expect. Yes, he's played in number six when he was in the academy, but that was a far, back, not recently. So I think him playing the number six probably could be a great option. We never know. Again, it was basically a championship side that we were dealing with. So who knows? But I think he protected Conor Gallagher a lot. And Conor Gallagher, who's today been, again linked with I think going to Crystal Palace on loan. He's also been linked with Leeds and Newcastle United. For me, he needs a loan. Yes, he was the only one who played the 90 minutes, but I have to say it, like, unlike popular opinion, he is not ready, at least not for the number six role. And that's where I feel that Conor Gallagher, going on a loan will definitely help because he can be the ideal replacement for Mount, not for a number six role. That's the way I see it because he missed a couple of defending chances because of which Bournemouth got excellent one-on-ones almost, and that's something that we cannot afford. I know it's too early to judge, but we have a youth squad. We have to be a little bit strict there because we cannot have everyone and anyone. But yes, Conor Gallagher, great future. Not yet ready for me. Apart from that, like other couple of underwhelming performances, of course, Barkley again, not up to the mark. He got the assist, but that's it. Apart from that, he could not really, make it in those minutes that he got. And other players were all good in my opinion, and it was a good run out and good to see us win. That's what I can say for now, right? So yeah, we are done with the preseason talk. Yeah, any other players that I might have missed, feel free to comment. Feel free to involve yourself. And now, yes, we have a few people online, guys. Definitely, big up to you, and I hope you guys will stay on because we are going to discuss the main reason why we are here today, as well as the entire weekly updates that we have, transfers. So, guys, I would like to step into the next section. Meanwhile, do press that like button so that more people join. Yeah, thank you. Okay, lot of speculation, lot of talk there, lots to discuss. So much has happened in just a week. Yes, we are covering these transfer updates on a weekly basis, as you know, but there's lots to discuss, guys. Before that, let me big up a few people. Definitely, I see True Gunnar here. Well, thank you for joining, True Gunnar. I know that we are talking Chelsea today, but really big up to you because there's a lot of transfers which involves Arsenal as well that I'm going to touch upon. And of course, Mikhail, a regular watcher as well as panel on the show. Thank you for coming as well as on. Same with you. Big up, brother. And yes, let's start with basically positive news in transfers. Chelsea have, yes, we have finally made our first signing of the summer. So, congratulations, guys, for all you Chelsea fans who were desperate to get a signing. Well, honestly speaking, I did not expect us to do much business this summer. We tend to have, recency bias, and we forget that we had, 6 to 7 signings last year. So, that's something that told me that, hey, we're not going to sign many. But yes, there were a few outgoings as we had covered in the previous videos, and we have our first signing as a goalkeeper. That's Marcus Bettinelli. So I don't know if you know Marcus Bettinelli. Marcus Bettinelli actually played for Fulham, yes, our London rival, and not only that, he played a lot of games last season. I think he played about 42 games in the Championship on loan at Middlesbrough. So he's not someone who always is on the bench. So it's actually great to have someone who's ready, been there, done that more recently. I know not in the Premier League more recently, but he's just 29 and is English after all. So I'm sure like he may be knowing a few people as well as he has time to improve. So you never know that Czech and Co might work, maybe behind the scenes and let him actually compete with Kepa for that number 2 spot. After all, I think you all know that in the African Cup of Nations in January we are having Mendy going as well as Ziyech, I know, but Mendy will definitely be missed. So Kepa or Bettinelli, I don't know. Like for now, it's Kepa for sure. As we saw in the preseason game, Kepa did make a few errors as well. Maybe because of the crowd coming back, he was nervous, from basically the backdrop that he's had. But for me, Bettinelli looks good. Someone who's been very regular. I'm sure he won't be okay to play, just on the bench or just be a third choice keeper all the while. But let's see, how it goes. Like it's a free transfer after all because I think he ended the contract with Fulham where he was back, and that's a no-brainer, a 2-year deal. I think it's a no-risk, option. Great, replacement. Who knows for Willy Caballero, who actually was one of our goalkeepers against Bayern Munich in the Champions League game. So Bettinelli can play a few important games. But yes, moving on from Bettinelli, as you saw in the video, the big news is Jules Kounde. Yes, that's how it's pronounced, Jules Kounde or Jules Kounde. Basically, Jules Kounde is an upcoming centre back, as we all know. He is just 22, And reports say, I think it's more than reports, because I think even Fabrizio Romano has gone record saying that Chelsea are in talks with him and his camp, and as close as basically penning a 5-year deal. Well, I have seen him a few times. Honestly speaking, I don't follow La Liga. I don't know, guys in the chat might be able to comment. The way I see it, unfortunately for Kounde, the moments I saw Kounde playing, he made mistakes most often than not. I saw him give a couple of penalties, but that doesn't mean that he's not good. I saw a lot of good in him as well. I think, I remember tweeted yesterday a few good points. Definitely check out on, guys, because I remember, this person can play the ball and scored a lovely goal against Barcelona, almost like, how Zouma had almost scored against, I think Ajax in the Champions League, but this guy actually finished. He can play three at the back, probably better than Zouma, and is basically, is having a huge leap as well. So it's not that because he's short he cannot jump. He is one of those like Conte who can jump very high and can play the ball. So I think it's evident that we're going to play three at the back with all this as well as preseason game. So I think Kounde is a fair shout, but at what cost? Now that is the key. Just before going live, there are reports saying that we might have just bottled it because of the price. I believe Kounde has had a release clause of 80 million euros, which is I think 68 million pounds. So that is too much money, unless we have too much money, which we probably do. But in exchange for Zouma, I think it's a good deal, because we might get Kounde for just about 30 million. And Zouma, on the other hand, someone who's not getting a lot of game time, will get games which he deserves. The servant that he's been. Yes, in all this, I am sad for Kurt Zouma possibly going. There were reports about him. I think the true Gunnar was here, but Zuma was rumored to be going to possibly Spurs. Spurs are targeting Zuma. So I hope that does not happen. I don't want any of the London rivals to become stronger, because Zuma in the Premiership is very good, in my opinion, in a four, defense system, right? I don't think in a three the back system he fits in so well. But yes, definitely Zuma will miss you. And one reason why I was not so happy is just the nostalgia that I have, right? As in, been following Chelsea for so many years, a couple of decades now. I remember, like, of course, 2015, 2017, the last time we won the league, and Zuma was part of it, mainly in 2015. But slowly but surely, part of that squad, is vanishing, right? And that's something that I don't like. But we all move on, and Kounde is a great future, and you never know, he might be the next big thing. Varane went to Manchester United, but Varane, I know he's just 28, but Kounde is 22, so he has a lot more to improve on, and he has time on his hands. Let's see a few comments here. So let's just not forget how good Zouma was during back four under Lampard. Yes, exactly. Zouma was probably playing ahead, I think, of most of the centre backs that we had at the time, and he was a number one centre back for a good while. And even don't forget, Abhi, I think your comment is great, because Zouma was playing for Jose Mourinho in the Carling Cup, at that time Carling Cup and now Carabao Cup final in 2015, over Gary Cahill, even in the centre back position. And that time, I think Gary Cahill was a vice captain. So that is food for thought for you, how good he can be. But yes, that injury that happened in 2016 probably wasted a couple of years for him, and his upbringing did not happen the way he wanted to in football, right? But yes, here we see from Let's Talk Ball with On. I think the reports are just to push the price up higher. I don't think it'll be a big problem. I agree. The latest report that I just heard before going live was that there could be a scenario where we are not able to meet that price, but I think it's just about bargaining, right? And that's definitely Sevilla expected it. They didn't have a clause just like that. There is a reason, and it's all business after all. And yes, Chelsea perspective also agrees. Kounde's deal will definitely happen. Yes, I see it happening. So that's where, like, the subject line of the video also says basically Kounde is done. I believe it's almost done. So that's it. But yes, moving on from Kounde, I think another position or another player that is related to Kounde is Tchouaméni. I know Tchouaméni is a lot of people's favorite in terms of the CDM that we should target. The reason why I'm linking Tchouaméni to Kounde is because both of them were playing in Bordeaux. I think for about a season and a half almost, they were at Bordeaux together. And possibly, I have read somewhere that basically Their agents are connected as well, and one of their agents knows Petr Cech. Yes, so Cech, definitely our man, trustworthy guy. Never know, with all those links that's happening, Kounde, Germany, Czech, maybe, Germany is the next signing. So guys who are waiting for transfers to happen in Chelsea this season, you never know. We might get two in a week, right? So Germany is definitely on, especially considering the price that he's speculated to be at, right? On the other hand, I'll tell you why it may really happen, because another report said just yesterday that Monaco have actually bid, I think, 15 million euros for Kamara. Yes, Boubacar Kamara, who's also been linked to Chelsea. I think Monaco have bid 15 million for him. So, what do you guys think? Do comment and let me know, because I feel that Boubacar Kamara, if that bid is accepted, by Marseille, you never know. That might be a replacement that they're looking for, Monaco in Germany, who comes to Chelsea. So that's something to keep an eye on. But let's go through some of the comments again. Uh, Here's Mikhail. I believe if it's Aspi plus 25 million for Kounde since they play on same side. Wow, that's pretty controversial. Aspilicueta is going nowhere for me. I know Zouma and Aspilicueta both are part of the old guard, but I believe that Aspilicueta will stay. He's the captain after all. But I agree that Kounde plays at the right centre back and he'll probably not start. And Aspilicueta probably starts, and maybe 6 months down the line when Kounde is ready with the Premier League, he starts. Zuma for Kounde puts Kounde on bench behind Aspi and RJ potentially. Well, Reece James, Mikhail for me will be back at right wing back. I know Hudson-Odoi started the preseason games, but let's see. I believe that Reece James probably will start once he's back, since he's still recuperating after the Euros. So that's my thought. But yeah, feel free to add, guys. Chelsea perspective says Zuma always seemed shaky whenever he played. Yes, good point. Zuma, as much as is great in a back four system, he does not fit the left centre back role as much. And that is where I'm getting to Chelsea perspective, because the next link that we have this transfer week was Kimpembe from PSG. Well, I don't see it happening realistically, because Kimpembe is a player who is a France, national. He will not definitely, be happy to be on the bench, but he's a good left centre back option. He is left footed. And why that speculation started? Because another report says, I have to say it, as controversial as it might be, Thomas Tuchel is actually open to getting rid of Rudiger only if we get a good offer in place. I don't believe in that, but that is what reports say, and it's not just one, multiple reports say that. And that is why Kimpembe comes into picture. And Thomas Tuchel is very happy with Rudiger. There's no two ways about it. He just won you the Champions League, and he was a stellar centre back at that, right? But if we get the right offer, right, a crazy offer, who knows? We might go for left-centered, left-footed centre back. That is something that is, in talk. I don't know. You guys in the chat might be able to comment more. And yes, I think on also agrees that Germany is closer than we think, but still not very close. Well, Chelsea are doing business behind closed doors, so that's something that we expect them, being professional that they are. But let's see, how it goes. But I feel that Germany over Rice just for the price. Now that we are probably going to shed a few million on Kounde, and obviously the big bid that we're going to talk next, that is a striker position. The talk cannot be enough without the striker position, guys. And with striker, firstly, I think the true Guna was here, so let me cover Arsenal news. Tammy Abraham. Well, Tammy Abraham, the latest reports say 40 million to Arsenal, but Arsenal are considering him as a backup. Their first choice is Danny Ings, just like us. Well, Danny Ings is a backup to us, but might be first choice for Arsenal, whereas Tammy Abraham is their second choice. But I don't know, guys in the chat might be able to comment more. What is Tammy Abraham really worth? For me, after the preseason game, a few million lesser. As much as I don't want to be reactive, but that's a fact, and I love him and I want him to do well, but not at Arsenal. I want him to basically go to maybe an Aston Villa, go back to Aston Villa, who knows, or go to West Ham, another London rival, but not Arsenal, or go abroad, even better, right? And but let's see, 40 million is huge amount if it's true, and we might take it, because that might just fund that big Haaland deal. Well, Haaland deal. I'm tired of telling it almost in every transfer week, talk that I have with you all. But for me, there are two contradicting reports. I don't know which one is true. I've read reports, firstly, that there is basically a bid of 130 million pounds plus 20 million pounds as a tip to Raiola as well as Haaland's dad from Abramovich that is being readied. That is one rumor. Fabrizio Romano, I think, has gone on record on a couple of YouTube channels that I know saying that this is not true. But it's not true yet, is what he mentioned. So you never know, right? The second report is interesting, right? And then the second report actually says that basically Haaland wasn't training for Bundesliga club Dortmund, and he actually went on record saying that no one is worth that amount. So I don't know whether it's just sarcasm from him saying that he's the only one worth that, knowing that that's the personality that he has, like in Ibrahimovic almost, right? Yes, I feel that Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Haaland are probably comparable in the attitude that they have. But I think on the other hand, he also went on record saying that there are maybe a couple of slight issues in the Dortmund camp, but everything is good. Again, I don't know what that means. Meanwhile, in the backdrop, what has Dortmund done? They have announced Malen. Yes, Daniel Malen, the guy that we had scouted on RCBian Chelsea Fan TV. I think Mikhail is in the chat. A couple of people also were there with me. We had scouted Daniel Malen back, I think, in the early part of July when he wasn't linked with these clubs, but he has joined Dortmund after all. He's not a winger. A lot of YouTube, streams that I've seen where people say that he is a replacement for Sancho. He's not a winger. He was a winger possibly in his Arsenal youth days, but for PSV he plays as a striker. He has scored 25 goals in 41 appearances. He plays as a striker. I would probably compare him to Morata. I don't know if you remember Morata. Well, I'm not saying that Marlon has horrible finishing that Morata has, the enigma that Morata is. No, but Morata, if you remember, for Real Madrid when he started, he used to play on the wing, and then he probably became a striker. That is what Marlon was. Marlon is basically a Morata, and he was probably something like a Kalu when he started off, but now he's become like a Morata. Hopefully not in finishing for Dortmund, but who knows, right? But does that mean Haaland is coming to Chelsea? That's a big question. But we need to have our backups ready. Well, let's see what are the comments here saying. Abhi says Chelsea should try to keep Tammy at least until we secure a top target. Well, interesting that Tammy Abraham, definitely I would say yes. But you know what? It is a conundrum because imagine, like, there are just a couple of weeks for the Super Cup, and here we have basically maybe a couple of bids coming for Tammy Abraham. What if we say no? And then we have Broja also. We don't want to be in a situation where we have too many young strikers on the bench. Maybe one striker on the bench is enough. I know Tammy Abraham's situation is such that maybe things will not improve with regards to Thomas Tuchel and his system and him fitting in. But him playing the preseason games, in fact, starting the preseason games, tells me that either Chelsea wants to put him on the transfer market, and that is why they want him to perform, or basically Thomas Tuchel wants to see what he can bring, if at all, right? So that's what my comment is to that, Abhi. And let's see what On says. I just meant that we might be working on it, but still a long way to go for it to actually happen. Yes, that's for Chouameni. Absolutely, buddy. That's true. It's a long way, but I would hope that we could get the deal, at least one signing more, Kounde and another. I know I'm greedy. By the end of next week, by the time I come with the week 3 updates of preseason, we are talking about that being imminent because, as I said, Super Cup is nearing and we need to have players at least being in preseason for a week before that. And we would like to win the Super Cup. I'm sure all the Blues would, right? And guys, I don't know about the striker situation. I'm still confused because a lot of reports here. Another report that I'm going to add on now for the striker situation is Romelu Lukaku. Well, a lot of you all know what watching. I am basically a big advocate of Romelu Lukaku. I wasn't a couple of years ago, but seeing how he performed in the Euros for me, as well as I did watch quite a few Inter Milan games last season, I believe Lukaku has grown in potential. Again, we are just talking here because look, Inter Milan have given away Hakimi of the like, so who knows, right? But I think Lukaku, as per reports, is a possibility. There are two reports here. Well, it's got to be, very funny for me. One report says that we might give Timo Werner in exchange. Imagine Timo Werner in the Italian league. Why would he go to Italy? But anyway, that's one report. And Timo Werner is far younger and has higher potential. Yes, Lukaku is much better right now, but Timo Werner has a lot of versatility as well. So that is one report. But swap deals don't happen that often. But we are seeing Kounde Zouma deal possibly happening. So I don't know. Comment in the chat, guys. I think Timo going is not a possibility for me, but report say it, so I have to discuss it, right? And the other report says we are bidding 110 million pounds for Lukaku. Well, even at 90 million pounds, there are a lot of people who are debating with me saying that is he worth? Well, guys, again, I am going like a broken record. For me, Lukaku is 28. 28 is the prime of any footballer. That is basically the time when you basically get into the prime. He still has 3 to 4 years in him at the very high prime. And there are a lot of leagues who would be happily taking Lukaku at half the price we get. Yes, but not at 110 million. Maybe at 80 million, I would consider him, but not at 120, 110 million. That's too much. One school of thought is that Chelsea or Lukaku's camp are, bringing about this news because of basically, just making Haaland's camp and Dortmund basically, think that, hey, are we not interested in Haaland? Will they miss out on the 170 million? I don't know. Like, there's a lot of politics, a lot of street smartness that goes on to, transfer market. That's why it's so interesting, right? And very speculative as well. So yes, guys, we've discussed a lot of strikers here. We've discussed a lot of midfielders already, and of course the centre back situation, and we've got the goalkeeper that we've had, right? I don't know, what do you guys think? Is it going to be enough for us to basically just sign that one striker and it'll be enough? And preseason is the main thing, and of course, we have the big Arsenal, any Arsenal game is big just because it has history to it, even if it's a preseason game. And they are a club who came eighth last season. But we cannot forget that it is Arsenal and we are playing them this Sunday. So we have to be ready for that. Hopefully, we'll have a few people who participated in the Euros back in the team, and that'll be something very good to watch, right? I don't know if it's free. I doubt if it's free on the Chelsea app, but I hope we can watch it somehow in the country I am as well as you guys. And meanwhile, let's see the final couple of comments. I agree, Broja should get promoted. He deserves a chance, and then selling Tammy makes sense. Absolutely, brother. I would prefer Broja than Tammy right now, just so that Tammy will not be happy being on the bench, but Broja may just be. And Broja probably looks more, accustomed to coming on as a sub, considering the strength that he showed as well as the pace that he has. So I would go for Broja as a super sub, not as a starter for sure. And yes, I agree. He's not definitely not 110 million. That is way too much money for me, and definitely not even 100 million, right? As I put it that way. And let's hope that the next time that we meet, we have a great, Chelsea versus Arsenal versus Chelsea game as they are playing in the Emirates to discuss, as well as maybe a couple of imminent transfers. Meanwhile, do comment below, smash that like, and do subscribe. We are coming up with a lot of content, as you might have seen, and we've discussed already the Who Am I series. If anyone is interested, I'll be more than happy. Yes, we are coming up with a couple of tweaks in that, but we'll be back with a crisper episode on that you'll enjoy, and a lot of other news of Chelsea as well as EPL football in general. I think there's a cricket match going on as well. So I'll go back watching the cricket match. Meanwhile, you guys have a great time. And yes, thank you everyone to join. For now, that's it. And I hope to see you all again. Take care, all of you. Peace out.